Welcome to Shorty Supercoach. Hopefully you guys are having a better weekend than me. Well, it's official. This year's just been an absolute waste of time. We lost draft. Very, very frustrating. I ain't going to sugarcoat it. I'm pissed off. Just looking at the trophy now. I've made the grand final last 4 years. The last 4 of 5. We've won 2 of them. But I really thought I could have pinched it this year. And look, credit to Cov. If you're watching this, Cov, well played. Look, he had the best team all year. Like the points would say that. I managed to knock him off in the first final, but his boys pulled it together today or over the weekend and won by about 35 points, I think. I'll have a look in a moment. But full cracked it. Yep, absolutely cracked it. Was very pissed off. I was really kind of keen to just take something away from a pretty frustrating year of Supercoach, but hey, I guess we won't. All good. This is going to be a very quick review because I can't really be bothered thinking about Supercoach right now. So we'll start with draft, and as you guys know, very passionate about draft. I love it. Wow. So it even got closer on scaling. I mean, Dan Curtin in the last game just killed me. Side bottom at the start of the week. I just needed more from a couple of guys. Like even Dale, 104 is great, but when you had 14 touches in the first quarter, I'm thinking, boom, we're going to get like an outlier 150. And then Ed Richards was that outlier. You know, he kicked a couple of goals late in the game, and I was like, for fuck's sake. Very, very frustrating. But yeah, definitely want to give credit to Cov. He's a good fella and he knows his stuff. So it's certainly not taking anything away from him. It's just extremely frustrating. And here's how my side went. Look, normally we'd wait around for the rankings, but will I do that? Probably not. We'll see. I'm pretty keen to just go to bed, to be honest. Sinclair... Where's Sinclair? He was bloody good for some reason. I was thinking Wanganeen Miller was Sinclair, but they're both bloody good. 149. Holmes, solid. Clark, not at his best. Sicily was pretty reasonable. Dale, we touched on. Whitfield, solid. So, relatively solid backline performance, particularly Wanganeen Miller was outstanding. Bont, pretty good. Dacos, he's had a strange year, hasn't he? You know, I feel like he's had some real quiet games. I mean, 99's not disastrous, but it was a shocking day for Collingwood. But yeah, could well win the Brownlow, but it's been a strange year for him. Anderson was shut down, well tagged. Butters, look, I took the 130, and it would have been him or Gawn, or even Cherry potentially. So yeah, it was probably going to be Cherry. So I'll take that. Even though Gawn outscored him, like I feel like you've got to take a 130 when it's in front of you. Sinclair really good, Sarong really good, Merritt good, but I think he's out for a couple of weeks. I heard on the radio that he broke his hand or something, so that's a frustrating one. Will Ashcroft turned up, which was good. And then Hall and Boxall actually scored well, and I'll need them because Merritt's going to miss. The rucks were solid. We ended up putting the C on Dew. I wasn't sure if I was going to have a loop, but yeah, Shanahan started amazingly. I probably thought he was heading for a bit more than 59, but Smith, fantastic. McRae, solid. Rankin, he was clutched late. Pickett, not quite at his best, despite he had some great moments. Like, probably watching the game, I thought he would have actually scored better than that. But Warner, back to a better score this week. And Sheasel, Sheasel's probably had, I feel like we've been really hating on him, but he's actually had a better season. Like, I know it has been nothing like we were hoping or compared to probably what we were thinking we would get. But he's averaging 104. I mean, it's far from a disaster. I know the role hasn't always been good, but the role recently looks like it's been a lot better. So, yeah, I think with Merritt, hopefully we cop some coverage there, get a bit of coverage. Be nice to swing McCarthy in there, but just don't think I've got that. Don't think I've got that swing in there. I don't know, maybe look, Sheasel could go in there and McCarthy could go in the flex. Not sure. I'll have to play around with it anyway. But in terms of the MVP, bit of a tough one. You got to respect Butters. Sarong was really good. Sinclair, Wanganeen Miller were really good. Smith, really, really good. Look, I think two guys with 140 plus must be respected. And I feel like getting we always got to get a bit of, extra points for getting a good captaincy score as well. So, even though Sarong and Sinclair outscored Butters, I feel like I'm going to have to give... And then you've got Gawn. You've got Gawn as well. Gee, this is a tough one. I didn't really think about it beforehand, but you've probably got Wanganeen Miller, Butters, Gawn, and Smith. Look, it's a really tough... I feel like I'm always really harsh on Smith, and it's not his fault, but... he's in so many teams. Like, he's in 74% of teams. And if we're doing an MVP, like, how can he be MVP worthy? Because, he's not giving me the same advantage because everyone has him. It's sort of unfair on him, really, isn't it? But I do feel like a 141, you got to get a vote. But, a lot of our teams are looking similar. Gawn, Wanganeen, Miller, Butters with the three. Jeez, I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on, how you'd go the votes there, but this is always a bit of a tricky one. Look, Wanganeen Miller. Do I go the advance? Does Butters get a vote for a 130 being doubled? Brodie Grundy, a lot would have had the captain on him, so we did get an advantage from the captain this week. So we actually did. Unless a lot of people would have put it on Gawn. Let's have a look at some leagues, and we're not in too many good ones, to be fair, but I'm kind of confused how they're showing up different scores. What's going on there? I am outrageously confused right about now, but I don't know if I'm just going crazy, but how can Shorty Supercoach score 2,568 there and 2,452 there? That just seems all sorts of confusing. But let's iron this out and look, for a 149, Wanganeen Miller has to get the 3. He just does get the 3. And I do feel like... So Butters genuinely did give me an advantage with the MVP, or with being a good captain compared to someone like Grundy. But Gawn, I'm going to respect the 142. And I do feel really harsh here, but Zach Butters, 1 vote. I feel like he gets in there because of the captaincy score is important. And then, for just the 1 point, and that is slightly more, somewhat more unique, than, it doesn't really make sense because, Smith is in 75% of teams, 74, and, Gawn's in 46. So, look, it's sort of hard because it's almost like, good luck, Bailey. No matter what you do, you're going to find it hard to get a vote. So it kind of is unfair because it's hard for him to be my most valuable player because he's in everyone's team. So he actually doesn't offer me that much value. And I feel like to not poll with a 141 is very, very harsh. But, that's... I don't know. I've pondered it a little bit, and I think that's the fairest way to do it. Seems a bit harsh, but Wanganeen Miller 3, Gawn 2, Butters 1. All right, I'll see you guys later. Cheers.